Finally, this is it. The last time you will read those 3 dreaded words ever again. Marks are out. You're ready to be over and done with the sleepless nights and study stress of tests and exams. APC, the final board exam. You failed. Why now? Why me? You agonize over the thought of another year with a great test looming over you despite still having to meet the order deadline. If we're going to pass, something needs to change. What now? Today we are joined once more by Christin Thomas, CASA and founder of APC support program, The Passing Mindset. We chat about her experiences with APC repeat students through her APC support program, The Passing Mindset. We also chat about the blessing and subtle curse of family for personal growth, SAICA's UK committee and her term in its service, the London Article Clerks Association's unfortunate discontinuation, Christin's lifelong learning philosophy and subsequent weird and wonderful skill sets, the tipping point of success on the road to CASA and throughout your career, and more. I hope you enjoy. My travelers on the road to CASA. Very quick one. If the show has been adding value, if it is giving you some culture, some solace, and some inspiration on the long road to CASA, please give it a rating. It is the one way we can show the world that aspiring CAs are better than we've ever been. Please do that if you're enjoying it. And please do enjoy the show. If you have not already, check out part 1 linked in the show notes. And on to part 2.
I mean, it also takes a very special type of person to love studying.
Look.
Not everyone loves studying.
But okay, how do you think there's a way that we can cultivate that though?
I think you can. Mm-hmm. You definitely can. I think it comes down to understanding why you're doing it. Mm. And I think you've said this in many of your podcasts, but you need to know why you're doing what you're doing, and also just valuing the thing that, like, the fact that there is so much to learn, that you want to always learn more, because just in even general life, like, you can meet someone and learn something from them. That's so cool. But some people shy away from that, or they think, oh, now I have to talk to them and I don't know, what are they going to help me? But it's more just the appreciation that there is always stuff to learn. And yes, going back to CTA, there's always a lot to learn in CTA.
Too much.
Far too much. But it's enjoying that experience. And I think you can do it. You can enjoy it, but you have to make yourself, or you have to understand yourself what is enjoyable to you. I mean, some people put like their favorite chocolate after every 5 pages.
5?
Or like 10 or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe like after the day or something.
Yeah.
But even that's a lot of chocolate.
But, like motivating yourself, okay, if I get through these 5 pages, I get to have my favorite chocolate. Or for me, I loved highlighting. And when I got those blank books in the beginning of the year and have my IFRS and my tax act, and I was like, oh, I get to make this pretty this year. How exciting.
Yeah.
And I still have them, and they're still my pride and joy. I still use them with the flags and everything. But that was like such an enjoyable thing for me. And that's why I actually studied directly out the books. So IFRS was like, that's what I studied from. I never studied from the notes or anything, because I found that process of learning through highlighting it and flagging and all of that really fun for me. So you've just got to find your niche.
Find your niche. We could go deep on that. But I was also curious about what would you say has been maybe the one or two thematic lessons of your travels?
Wow. I think I've learned to trust myself a lot more. And I know myself a lot more. I have always been a very dependent person when I was living in South Africa. Obviously, my family was around me. I had a good group of friends. I knew what I was doing, where I was, zooting around the roads of Joburg in my car. And now you get to a place where you don't know how things work, and it's like a strange world. How do the tubes work? I don't know, the trams in Amsterdam. I had to drive on the wrong side of the road in Belgium.
Amsterdam, everywhere.
All these places I've lived, let alone the places we've traveled to. But and also for work now, I travel quite a lot, so I have to stay a lot alone. And you kind of learn, you make mistakes, you learn from them. But I feel a lot more independence, and that I can trust myself a lot more, which I don't think I would have necessarily experienced or gotten to know myself in that way if I hadn't traveled and moved overseas. I think also the other thing that traveling teaches you is valuing what you do have. Like I said earlier, family is really important to me, and sometimes you don't value those like really small special moments that you have with them, or your nice house or your garden, or even seeing the sun. Like simple things. You really do value those things a lot more. So I think I've taken a step back of, even in London, it's not a given that I'm going to be there forever. So if I can walk around the park and see a cute dog, I love dogs. But if I can see a cute dog and walk around the park or whatever, I've started to value those things a lot more, because, South Africa, when I'm here, I enjoy it a lot more. When I'm traveling to another place, whatever it is, you just take a step back and really appreciate what is given to you. And I don't think, again, if I hadn't traveled, I probably would have taken for granted the things that we do have here in the life that we live. That's very deep.
No, it's true. Like, I think of...
No one cry, please.
Look, if you're by yourself, cry, man. But, I think of this metaphor of, like, this image of a torch.
Yes.
So, I think of, like, home and family. My mother always has this image of, or rather this metaphor of, you come back to your source. Like, family is the source. It's the thing that you come back to recharge and you go out.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes it's stressful, this source. But I think of this image of a torch. You come here and you light the torch. And when you go out, you have to go out. You start to see the torch get dimmer and dimmer. And then that makes you, hopefully, but sometimes people, they'll let it actually get extinguished. But hopefully it gets you to actually try and keep it alive, right?
Yeah.
And that's when you start to realize, shucks, like, these people were my light and they are my light.
Yeah.
I need to go back.
Yes.
And then you start to appreciate the torch.
Yeah.
But even, like, sometimes the heat becomes too much. You need to go again.
Yeah, the heat becomes a lot.
It becomes a lot when you're around. But you still need to come back at every time to relight the torch. And when it gets extinguished, that for me symbolizes when you maybe have grown too distant with your family, and maybe you find a new source, right?
Yeah,
Maybe you find a new group of people or a new, life outside of it. But yeah, that was the image.
That's beautiful. Very nice. I'm gonna have to tell my mom.
You have to tell your mom.
I'm gonna have to tell my mom that analogy. She's gonna cry. It is a beautiful analogy, though. They do. They are your source. They know you better than anyone else, probably. Except yourself. You know yourself best, hopefully.
But it's an interesting sort of balance, because they know you, but what if you're trying to change yourself?
Yeah.
What if you're trying to grow, right?
And the resistance comes.
Then you exit your mold and they tell you, no, that's not you. Christin, no.
Yeah.
No. That's that. So it's an interesting one. But I think like at some level there is, I don't know. I think I'm kind of blessed to have a family that accepts me.
Yes. And I think
not a given.
That's one of the difficult things, is not all families are accepting. And there are a lot of people out there that can't rely on their families. And I know I am very blessed to have a family like that would support me. As my mom always says, I have an army behind me. Yeah. And everyone in the family has the same army behind them. But not everyone has that. So they do have to find their other source, so to say. But there are sources for everyone. You just have to find it then. Yeah.
We could go deeper. But I wanted to get onto the SAICA UK committee.
Yes.
What is it?
Right.
Because wait, Chris, like SAICA,
yes.
UK?
Yes.
South African United. Can you please explain?
Right. So basically, SAICA has a lot of people that move overseas, right? We know this. And in South Africa, SAICA has 4 committees that look after the CASAs in South Africa. And because now there's so many international people, there is now an international sort of branch, if you can put it that way. So we have different committees in the countries where there are a lot of CAs. I'm part of the UK committee, but there's one in Australia, there's one in Netherlands, Bermuda. So, those general places where there are a lot of CAs. And as part of the committee, I am a member. My kind of role in the UK committee is to try and make sure that people that are finishing articles that move abroad actually change their details, because that's the only way that they know that they have moved. So if you are, if you qualify, you're living in South Africa, you move abroad and you don't update your address on the SAICA website or your portal, we will never know that you have arrived. So it's about spreading that awareness. Obviously, with the passing mindset, I'm also very closely associated with LACA, which is the Articles Association in London. So having that connection, making sure that when they become CAs, they're also looked after. We have a lot of events during the year, so opportunity for networking, but we're also there to hear from the members what they like about SAICA, what they don't like, if there's any issues that they're having. Obviously, when you move abroad, you have, admin that you have to do. From SAICA's perspective, we can help you with that. So it's just making sure that our members in the UK are happy and we know about them. So if you're listening to this and you're moving abroad, please change your details. Otherwise, you will never be invited to the events. But yeah, so it's really cool, and it's a nice way to build that CA community overseas.
LACA is not just LACA. It's the London Article Clerks Association.
Yeah, I think so.
So there's a whole... It is LACA.
Yeah, it is.
But it's LACA. So there's a whole association for London Article Clerks specifically.
Yes.
Do you know of any of the programs in London?
So articles? Actually, interestingly, I think they're stopping next year. articles. So you were able to go abroad if you had a passport.
Yes.
I think Deloitte did it.
Yes.
BDO and maybe PwC. Not 100% sure on that. But I think that they're actually stopping those programs from next year. SAICA's stopping them.
Yes.
So I don't know what's going to happen to LACA in the future. It's going to fizzle out. But there were quite a few people there. I think there were over 100 article clerks. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, maybe you can't train it in the UK anymore.
Yes, but you can still move there.
But I think there are some programs that have international rotations.
Yes. So I think Investic is one of them, where because there's South Africa and UK branches, I think you go there for 6 months, which is super cool. I met 2 guys at one of the events that was on their rotation. In first year, they were very excited. And then they get to spend 6 months in the UK, see what it's like, but you're coming home.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah, because the sun and stuff.
Yeah, get your vitamin D.
Get your vitamin D. The passing mindset.
Yes.
What is it?
My baby.
Yes. What is the passing mindset? How did it start actually?
So it started because in my first year after articles, 2 of the girls that I worked with in articles, unfortunately failed their exam. And they reached out to me and said, is there any advice that I have or help, any support that I could give them?
This is APC.
APC,
yes.
Yeah. And at that time, I was living in Amsterdam. I had just moved to Amsterdam from Belgium. And I said to them, of course, I'm happy to help you with whatever I can. And I said to them, well, how many other people do you know that haven't passed? Because if I'm helping you and I'm having a Zoom call with you, for example, why not, tell your friends they can come along and I can help a few other people. And by 7 days later, I had 10 people. And by the end of the month, I think the first year we had 40 people.
Sure.
So the first year was I was not really sure what I was doing. I was taking it as it comes. It was really just helping them with whatever I could help them with, breaking it up into the different parts of the APC. So, your pre-release, information on the day, how to read the questions, how to answer. And since then, we've just finished the 4th year and it's grown. I think this year I had 119 people.
Sure.
So it's still quite small, which I actually enjoy. I don't want it to be something where I don't have, a connection with the people that I'm with and helping, and I get to spend time with all of them. So that's really good. And basically it's a repeaters program. So, but also any first timer can join. The reason why it's repeaters is there's no exams. So you can't qualify to write the APC because that's what a board course is. That's why we can't call it a board course. It's a program. And we have 12 sessions during the year. We have 5 on approach, which is really focused on the practical things. I've seen with the repeaters, you lose your confidence firstly, but then you sit there and go, okay, now what? What do I do now? I thought I did it okay. You're never going to go into the APC exam thinking you're going to fail, So it's really practical things, again, through that, from the pre-release until writing on the day. And then we have 4 technical sessions on the 4 subjects where we delve a little bit deeper into how to answer those types of questions, what to look at if there's updates, etc. And then motivation sessions, which are my personal favorite. So we have 3, and in each of them we have 2 repeaters from the year before of the passing mindset that then passed. And they come on and just share their journey of, you know, why they failed the first time, how they then passed, what they changed, what were the 5 tips that they would give to anyone. And it's just amazing to then hear from them and not always just hear from me. And hear from them what works and what didn't work. And each person can kind of then connect with one of those repeaters. And then we have mentors, we have a WhatsApp group. So there's a lot going on. And yeah, it really is my pride and joy. And it makes me so happy and fulfilled, you know, just to get, even if it's just a simple thank you. I mean, this is a bit funny, but I had a candidate this year that said she started dreaming about me. I was like, okay, that's thanks. A bit too much. But she was like, no, I just like value your session so much that like now I'm dreaming of them. I was like, okay, it's a bit strange. But I'm really happy for you, I think. But yeah, it really just makes me so happy to help anyone become a CA. So yeah, that's the passing mindset.
It's focused on repeaters.
Yes.
I feel like so I failed last year, my third year. And it's funny how for me, you know, I've heard this other quote, the great tragedy of life is that you can only live it forwards, but it only makes sense looking backwards.
Yes, yeah.
And if I didn't fail, like the podcast wouldn't be.
Yeah.
So for me, failure has been this huge blessing.
Yes.
And not even necessarily in the entrepreneurial romanticizing way of it. You know, like in Silicon Valley, they, you know, break things, fail fast. You know, Facebook, it's one of their things. Like, not even in that sense. It's literally just that, like, if you didn't fail, then you probably would have went on to CTA, maybe to, like, for me, a private institution. You would have had a lesser experience than what you were going to have this year with Tux.
Yeah.
And, like, there's all these things. Like, if I had gone on with my shaky foundation, I would, you know, probably not be as competent a professional as I can be.
Yes.
You know, even apart from the podcast. So there's just a lot around failure that I think, at least in my experience, is missed.
Yeah.
In terms of opportunity for learning, for growth, for all good things.
Yeah. And I also think, you know, I often say to the people that I try and use the word unsuccessful rather than failed, because when I see them in the first session, we have this little kind of scale. How are you feeling? You know, I'm really unmotivated, or I'm feeling really motivated and okay. And it's like really bad. It's all clustered towards unmotivated. And as the name is, it's the passing mindset, so much around your mindset. And I always say to them in that first session, I say, you failed. You're not a failure. And it's realizing that, yes, okay, you've been unsuccessful now, but it doesn't mean that the rest of your life is going to be different. It's 1 year that's changed. And you're not a doctor. You haven't like killed anyone. That's really bad to say, but you know, you're not in a surgery. You're okay. You're still breathing. You're still living. See it as an opportunity. And then in my last session, I always say to them, now we're at the time where you have the opportunity to show these people that you are ready to be a CA. So you have to go in there and think, I'm not a repeat student or a candidate. I'm now here proving myself. And it really is about that mindset around it. And like you said, your failure, the bad word, last year has led you to such cool things now, but you don't see it in that moment. And that's what's really difficult is in the beginning, I'm dealing with people in the moment. They've just received this SMS. They are down and out. You're so sad. Of course,
Yeah.
you know, you think, how am I ever going to get through this? And then at the end of the year, you see them like, okay, cool, I'm ready. I'm going to go get this exam. I'm going to do it. And so many people that do repeat, in hindsight, are grateful.
Yes, yes.
But it is that hindsight thing. But I'm in the tough situation where I have to pull them out of that and get them ready in the year where, in hindsight, they'll be happy. But at that moment, they're not, because all their friends are out living the perfect third year.
All of them
articles.
have written eligible to.
You know, and LinkedIn is the worst because you go on there and everyone's like, oh, look at my SMS.
I'm proud to announce.
Oh no, it's difficult, but it's not going to change your life. It's not life altering. And that's why I think the motivation sessions are also so important, to hear from other past repeaters that they're still living overseas. They were unsuccessful in their APC. They're still living overseas. They still got a good job. They still did what they wanted to do. So you're okay at the end of the day. It's an extra year, but if you live to be 130
with some vodka every morning,
with your vodka every morning, it's not a big chunk of your life.
Yeah,
it's a year.
So funny. I literally, when I was, I had an episode, a conversation with a partner in Cape Town. She's an audit partner, and she mentioned how, you know, surprise, surprise, no one asks how long it took for her to qualify. She failed her first board. This was back when it used to be, the second board was like called the QPE, something like that.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
That's years ago.
Yeah, it was a different exam, but she failed 3 times, I think.
Yeah.
3 times, the first board.
And look at her now.
Or rather, she failed twice, so she did it 3 times. And now she's a partner. So I was like, you know, I guess the empathetic thing is and empathy is a really funny thing, because, you know, we think about it as, if I were in your shoes, what would it be? That's actually not really empathy. It's more, what is the equivalent emotional response that I would feel in your given case? So now, if you think about it, actually, this is the first failure for a lot of people in their life.
Yeah.
And so it's actually a huge thing. And you mentioned mindset. Mindset is the thing, because now, for the first time, and fortunately, I think for me, with my failure, one of my strengths is that I've long sort of divorced my self-worth from my marks. But for a lot of people, it's the first time that they failed.
Yeah.
And so now
they feel the failure.
Feel like a failure.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's the turning point. That's the tipping point of, are you defined by this moment?
Yeah. And you shouldn't be. But in your head, yeah, of course, you do feel that way. But it's about getting that across, that you will become an audit partner, even after failing twice, writing it 3 times.
For her, it was, she came back to that why. So that's why I'm a big believer in like, just see something.
Yeah.
See something as the means.
Yeah.
As the end to this means. And see CASA as a means.
Yeah.
Problem is this hashtag, it will end. It's dangerous, because you eventually end, and then there's nothing that actually takes you further. But that's even an issue for later. But yeah, man. I was also curious about so your the people that you wanted to sort of have a conversation with. One of them was Malcolm Gladwell.
Yes. Oh, I love that man. As you mentioned in my intro, I read a lot.
Yes.
And I switch between fiction and non-fiction. So fiction is good for me to take me into fairy world and, you know, just living a different life. But non-fiction teaches me a lot about ways of thinking. And I try and read a lot of books that will help me with what I'm doing for the passing mindset. And Malcolm Gladwell's books are just, they really make you understand differently how people think and how you can use that. And sometimes it's small things, sometimes it's big things. And obviously he's not the only author that does it. I just love the way he writes. And I think sometimes it's just, you can, I wish I could almost just sit with him and say, okay, all these theories that you have, this is how I think it relates to what we're doing. But what else do you think? What else have you got inside of you? I want to drain his brain of everything he knows, because there's just so much that he does know, and I can relate it as best I can. But you never know what other people know. I guess it goes back to the fact that I like learning, of just, getting inside someone's brain, seeing what they think. Yeah.
When I even think about the one book, Tipping Point.
Yes.
The tipping point. I think about, what's the tipping point of quote unquote success in this journey? I feel like that tipping point is when you find why you want to do it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Because the person who qualifies as a CA and afterwards is kind of lost, like there is this identity crisis that happens sometimes.
Big time.
Right?
Yeah, big time.
I would argue that person's quote unquote less successful than the person who failed 3 times.
Yeah.
But she said, I wanted to be a partner.
Yeah.
I want to be a CA because I want to be a partner.
Yes.
That person failed twice, got through. I believe that person's quote unquote more successful.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the tipping point is when you have a reason.
Yes. There's also that book, it's called It Starts With Why. Brilliant book. I would recommend it
By
to
Simon Sinek.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely everyone. I think I've read it like 3 times.
It's amazing.
And there's also a podcast, so you don't have to read it. But it's actually crazy how each time I've read it, my why is the same, but the things that surround it is a bit different. So my biggest why in life is just to help as many people as possible. It's something that I do in my job at Forvis Mazars. It's something that I do with the passing mindset, the UK committee, all of the different things I do. That is my why. That is my purpose, my drive, my motivation, my everything. But the little bubbles around it are constantly changing. So in articles, yes, I'm helping people, but maybe I'm helping someone in first year or second year that doesn't understand the work that they're doing. Now it's all the things I've just mentioned, but it's always just about finding and going back to that and making sure that everything aligns. Whatever you do, it needs to align with that why. Otherwise, you won't be happy with whatever you're doing. So I think that's like a brilliant book. Highly recommend. And reread it and see how it changes, because it's really interesting.
You're rereading books. I haven't done that.
You've got to give a gap. You can't reread it from like start to finish again. No.
Yeah, no.
But go back and
give it a few months, give it a few weeks, even
a
if
year.
It's that great a book, even a year, even 2 type of thing. And I was even thinking, this image came to my mind about, when you speak of that why, sort of not changing but growing, or elements around it becoming clearer and more pronounced, maybe.
Yeah.
I was thinking about how over time, and like you even mentioned Malcolm Gladwell's ideas not being necessarily generally revolutionary.
Yes.
Or like completely unique.
Yeah.
But how you love the way he writes. And I believe that you already know all the truths. You already know what it takes to win, right?
Yeah.
And you know the basics. You know what's right and wrong, quote unquote. It's different per person, but you know.
Yeah.
But the reason why it's so important to be a lifelong learner is because, yes, you know, but how do you make that core to you? And I believe that the way you do that is you prune it, you polish it, you trim it, you sharpen it, and that process is it's I believe through the things you find beautiful. So his writing makes you ruminate on the thoughts.
Yeah.
And when you ruminate on the thoughts, it becomes part of your thinking. When it becomes part of your thinking, it becomes part of your acting, your actions, right?
Yes.
And that's why it all starts with the mindset, because it was an idea before it became Facebook.
Yes.
It really was just an idea.
Yeah.
And you're a lifelong learner. You love to learn.
I love learning.
The SAICA CA of 2025 is a lifelong learner, right?
Yes.
And you have taken that in full stride. You've actually done a few certifications around it.
Yes. I try and get a new certification every year.
At least one a year?
At least one a year. Sometimes it's not like a physical certificate. Sometimes it's just completing something.
Yes.
Or, setting your mind to something and having that as your achievement of the year. So kind of setting your goals.
Yes.
But yeah, I've ended up with some weird and wonderful ones. I'm actually a dancing teacher.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I got that in I think it was first year of university. So that's always something I can fall back on.
If the CA thing doesn't work.
If it doesn't work out, you'll see me as a dancing teacher. I've got my advanced divers. So there, I've done that. I did that in Egypt. That was beautiful with a bunch of my friends. But then I also do some like normal ones on like Udemy. Last year, I did a behavioral course, behavioral design. That was actually through work, but it was an additional thing that we did. So just trying to always learn new things, even if it's not, CA related. I have no interest in doing a CFA, for example. It just isn't for me. I just know that I wouldn't enjoy it. So I find other things that I can do. And now I'm thinking about what I want to do next year. So we'll see.
Which was your favorite?
Oh.
Oof.
I think each of them are like perfect in the moment
of
what I'm doing. Because I try and, you look at your year and you think, okay, is this going to be a really intense year? Is it really busy at work? That type of thing. And then I'll try to do something more fun. So that it keeps it light. You don't want to come back from a tough day at work and have to go on Udemy and then learn even more. That's just not what we're doing. But sometimes, it is, I've done like the basics of Bitcoin. That was actually really good because everyone was talking about Bitcoin and I was like, I do not understand this cryptocurrency stuff. So I did, I've got like a basic certificate on that. And now I feel like I'm,
right?
So now
that was COVID time.
Yeah, now I know a little bit more about cryptocurrency. Not a financial advisor. But yeah, I think each of them are just perfect in their own way because it's what I needed at that time. Yeah. Just got to keep learning.
Yeah. If you could go back.
Yes.
To first year, second year, maybe even high school, Christin.
Yes.
What would you tell her?
That period of my life, I was very serious. I'm a lot less serious now. And I think I would tell myself to be less serious. I mean, as I've said, I studied hard during university, but I didn't have a university life. I wasn't the I wasn't going out. I was also in a serious relationship. And for 7 years, which thankfully ended. But I took everything super serious, and I just didn't have fun. And I didn't have, downtime or see, I did well. Of course I did well. And I'm glad that I did put that effort in, but I took things so seriously. Now my life is a little bit more colorful. And I'm still doing what I want to do and adventuring and doing all those things. But I didn't maybe have the courage then to kind of flitz about the world. So yeah, I would tell her to just stop being so serious. I took life so seriously. And I don't know why I was so little.
Yeah, but I think it's natural on some level. Even like, when you come from this like academic excellence and stuff like that.
Yeah,
man, you take life so seriously.
Yeah.
But there was interesting perspective that I recently heard about. So this guy, Joseph Murray, Dr. Joseph Murray, old guy, wrote some books back in the day. You can go search him up if you want. But he said, and I'm paraphrasing, the only creature in the world that can laugh is man.
Oh.
And the reason why God gave us this is because it shields us from pride and arrogance.
Yeah.
Our own pride and arrogance. And I sort of sum that up as ego. And I think that especially when you're young, when you think you are like the main character.
Yeah.
Like the
world revolves around me.
It's me. It's all about me. When you think that, that's just your ego talking, truth be told.
Yeah.
That inflated sense of importance is natural for young people.
Yes.
And I think, you still have to go out into the world and figure out that, or find out that you are way smaller than everything. And actually the universe is huge. So relax.
Yeah. It reminds me of the book that I just read. It's Matthew McConaughey's autobiography, Green Lights.
Yeah.
And he says one of his best things about himself is his sense of humor. And I mean, reading about his life, I didn't know that man did the things he did. I mean, I just look at him on the movies and flutter my eyelids a little bit faster. What a handsome man. But I didn't realize the life that he had lived. And seeing how he kind of, laughed through it, literally laughed through it, was quite cool to see because we see him as this like superstar, whatever. But he also had his own struggles, and he literally like got through a lot of things because he was a bit rogue and laughed. Yeah. Can get you through things. Old CT needs to be less serious, but new CT is okay.
Learn to laugh, I think.
Yeah.
That's the one. Learn to laugh.
A lot.
You are not the be-all and end-all. It's chilled, relax.
Yeah.
Guys, if you've not already, please don't tell us, so please follow this. Yo, this is incredible, Christin. Yo. This is amazing. Any plans for the passing mindset and any closing words?
Plans for the passing mindset. So every year we get feedback. Cool. So I'm filtering through that. I'm hoping to grow it a little bit more. Make the sessions a bit longer. I've heard what people need, so it's gonna keep going on with that. Closing words. Say yes, but not too many times. Be less serious. And yeah, I think if you are a CA, if you're becoming a CA, don't forget to give back. People need it. There's a lot of people that need your support and your help and your mentorship. Yeah, that's it from me. Over and out.
What a pleasure. What an absolute blessing.
It was good.
Guys. I hope it does not end, but that it begins in CASA. Christin,
Thank you.